morning, everybody. Today we're going to do just a quick breakdown of what I did in order to make this, what it started as a TT-01 from Tamiya, into the little rally track car that it is today. This is the Tamiya Sti body. I did it with some AS19 backed with some PS3. In order to get the AS colors to stick, I started with just some regular Tamiya flat clear. One thin layer seems to do pretty good if it's on the inside. On the outside, if you do that, you got to kind of mix the layers with the clear, and even then it has a tendency on impact to kind of flake off. Most of the stickers here just come from my collection. I did some reinforcements on the front lip. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see why. We had an issue with a hidden curb under some leaves. It just kind of ripped off the front bumper, as you can see here, where I kind of shoe glued it back together. This is a, oh man, I know this, Shogun Workshops intercooler. I got it from Super G, along with their cool new stickers. You guys should check them out. Got some cool stuff on their site. On the body, so getting down to the chassis. Alright, onto the chassis. Pretty much your basic Fortec 2.0. I need to do the 2.0 to match the wheelbase and most of the bodies out there because they all come in 190 to 200. As you can see, I still have chunks of leaves in there. I need to clean it. Other than that, right now I'm running all the stock electronics. That wasn't the plan originally. I do have a hobby wing set up from my race buggy, an older one. I think it's a 160 and it's got a 10.5 turn motor, which will eventually go in it. But I was actually really surprised with just how fast this 12 turn is. It's almost perfect for just out parking lot bashing. Once again, I had to do adapter for the plug. I haven't cut it off yet or anything like that. I actually have quite a collection of XL5s. This right here is one of the basic Tamiya drivers. They're like $8, super cheap little mod, and they're so easy to find. And I think they're like $8. So when you do find them, definitely pick yourself up a couple. So I have him mounted. I printed up a 3D mount so he works kind of on the battery tray. It just worked out with where everything was kind of sitting. Yeah, I just mounted with this basic little bit of shoe goo, built myself a little steering wheel because what they come with is kind of more like a IndyCar racer buggy tire kind of thing, or buggy steering wheel. Oh my god, I can't speak today. As far as modifications to this right now, I haven't done a whole lot. I did have to trim down the front foam in order to fit the bodies, because originally I had the Ford Corsa body on there. Another major swap coming up is going to be the servo. Traxxas, I don't know what the deal is, but their servos are just awful. Out of all their running gear, which I love Traxxas, because once you buy one of their products, I know they're a little bit more of the entry level stuff for people that are getting into RC, and that's kind of how they've made their name in their company. But their products just work, and that's what I really like about them. Is when you sit down with it, you just know as soon as you turn it on, everything's gonna just work, and it actually works really well. Even their brush systems are just super responsive. This one has way more power than I was anticipating. It's actually pretty happy with it as it goes. The wheelbase is a little bit weird because it is so wide with these rear tires, so that's why the STI wide body kit that I utilized actually just still doesn't completely clear, so I had to kind of widen the arches a little bit. I kept one of the lips, but you can see right here this actually came out about a good another quarter inch or so, and then came up and around. So I widened out the whole entire thing. I had to a little bit in the front, but not as bad, in order to make it fit those tires. And as you can see, it's still, let's see if we can get it on here. Alright, so now that it's kind of on, you can see that right here, oh, it's not lined up with the pegs. There you go. So it sticks out a little bit, which gives it kind of an okay stance look. I like it. It works for me right now. You can always get the narrower tires for the rear too. It's not that big of a deal. Alright, last thing we did was right here. I swapped out the shock suspension because honestly, it's really stiffly bound, but the Tamiya ones are garbage. Those friction shocks, I guess is what they call them, are absolutely terrible. So I took those off and I tried running the Traxxas ones. They're okay. They're just handling, dampening wise, they basically just super support the vehicle. Really heavy spring rates on them and not a lot of dampening. So what I did was I actually had an old set of MST RMX springs from one of my drift builds that I went ahead and threw on there, and they work perfect. I am running significantly heavier springs off of one of their add-on kits in order to kind of support everything, especially when I have a full-size 2S battery in here. I am probably going to keep this just running 2S. I have a bunch of 3S and 4S batteries, but 2S is just a nice balance for what you're going to come across whenever you're sitting in like a parking lot type situation. Because when you're sitting there and you got maybe what, like 80 yards by 40 yards and like a good size, like I live in Utah, so a big place I like to go is a lot of like the LDS churches because they have really nice parking lots. When you're in something that big, or I guess I should say that size, you don't really need a whole lot of power. I know that sitting here I could throw like a 3S or 4S system in here and I could get this thing up to probably something like 50 miles an hour, but I don't think it would be a lot of fun. Sometimes you don't need to go extremely fast to have fun. I have things like my Arma Limitless or my Felony. I even got like the Creighton. I have stuff that goes really, really fast. So this little Traxxas Fortec was just made for something I could have fun. I could hand off the remote with a less nice body probably to like my daughter or like nieces or nephews or something like that. I'm not worried about them crashing into anything. Like, okay, you hit something going like 15-20 miles an hour, you might break a body, you might break one of the tie rods or something like that, or maybe a control arm, but it's not going to be catastrophic damage. I had one time in my Arma Limitless going, oh man, it was my first time running with the new 1650 motor that's in it now, and I was just sitting, I was on 6S, I think I was hitting maybe like 75 or 80, just because I was super undergeared. I wasn't used to having something so low in kV. Anyways, super sidetracked. Anyway, just went slightly off the dirt, off the road into like a little dirt, barely hit like a berm, yard sale. Chunks flew off everywhere. Like when you're going that fast, any kind of accident is pretty much catastrophic. So, I really like the system that it's in now. I will be going to the censored brushless system here soon. This motor does get really, really hot. I haven't even swapped out any kind of pinion changes or anything like that, but I've noticed a lot of Traxxas electronics, especially their VXL systems, generate a ton of heat. They seem to be able to handle it fine, but we'll see. Once these brushes start to wear out a litll bit, I'll go ahead and I'll throw that Hobbywing system in there. But for now, I'm really happy with it. It's given me an opportunity to kind of get into the whole GT 190, 200 mil body, and that's kind of what my big thing is. I like doing custom bodies. I have an entire wall now of different side projects I've done for people. It's just kind of, it's what I enjoy the most, is doing the whole scale body aspect, having something that sits there and looks pretty and can also decently perform. As far as projects coming up, so the projects coming up that I'm working on, sorry for the mess, I've literally been building, I think, several trucks simultaneously. Most of them I've gotten out of here. So I have the limited edition, thanks West Valley Hobbies. You guys had one in stock, which I couldn't say no to. So we got the RC 4-wheel drive 4Runner. We're going to be working on him a little bit. I've already added the steel sliders, did the A&M Garage shackle flip kit. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Here you go. Huge difference. And then all your basic run-of-the-mill, like do-it-yourself modifications. This one's pretty much done. My Yokomo YD2, he's good. Finished the, of course, as soon as I do and completely finish my VS410 Pro, they release a Phoenix. So, something else added to the shopping list. I converted a lot of my very high-end electronics that I had in this to more mid-range stuff, as this is more my wife's go-to when we go out on the trail. She doesn't go all that often. When she does, it's nice to give her kind of a cool rig that she can use. So she's got the SX10 III. I took the Element Trail Runner. If you guys would pay attention, I did a long travel modification to it and a 550, I think it was a 12 turn is what we ended up putting in here in order for my daughter to kind of bash around. And this thing has held up extremely well. It is pretty quick, and it takes all the beatings that my daughter can throw at it. She hit a pole probably going 20-something miles an hour. Just the steel pipe coming straight out of the ground, just nailed it. If you see my Instagram, you'll see a clip of it. Pretty hairy, but not a single bit of damage. Comp crawler is done. This one was built off of an Axial Capra using G-Speed components, and is literally just a giant junkyard build. We did my first comp with Salt Lake, Utah, the Slug Crawlers, and who else put it on? I know Scumbag RC, if you follow him on Instagram, he's got a really cool page. He put it on, went with 801 crawlers also. It did really, really well, actually, considering the fact that I'm running the typical smallest 11 tooth that you can do on a Capra transmission. Wow, it was really amazing how well it did. And then I had to do it. I've always wanted to have a deadbolt, so I finally picked one up, got the light kits in, built my own grill setup, got a cool new driver head, little bunny rabbit, all lights are functioning, works. Other than that, performance-wise, it's running all stock electronics except for let's see. Oh, Hobbs Hobby motor, of course, and then I just put a WP like 110 servo in there just to give it enough torque just to have fun. Oh, and then I did the titanium links because these things in the plastic form are just awful. Other than that, I don't plan on doing anything too crazy with the build. I've just always wanted one, kind of just like a cheap buggy to drive around and have fun with. Other than that, that's pretty much my entire TT-02 to Traxxas 4Tech conversion. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Oh, while I'm here, I figure I might as well show you the wall of bodies from under builds. And then I'll be releasing a video for, let's see if I can get it, yep, this guy right here, Project Death Proof. That was actually my limitless that I did a conversion on in order to turn into a felony, and that is not cheap. I figured it'd be pretty easy. I was like, oh, it's just a couple bumper mounts, a new body, and that's it. No. I didn't take into consideration a lot of factors such as the differential swaps, the cost of the new tires, just the body itself. It's like $100-something bucks. It's pretty crazy. Anyways, I'll do a full breakdown on that. Right now I'm running just rear-wheel drive because I wanted to see how it'd work with a spool and a bigger spool gear. It's so difficult to drive. It's actually a ton of fun. And then one of these days I'll get together and I'll do like a small little shop tour, because I know I went from a really large garage into this tiny little space, which I share with my wife over there, who's, when she's in school, all of her classmates get to stare at my giant nerd collection of things in the background. Alright, once again, if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything you want to see on the channel, please let me know. I have my super awesome dedicated 22 followers, and I appreciate every one of you guys. Remember, don't like this video, don't subscribe, and I hope you look forward to future content.